I am about to tell you something that will challenge the very foundation of what you believe is possible at your age. The world has fed you a lie, a subtle poison that says after 45, the doors to great achievement begin to close. You're told to be realistic, to manage expectations, to accept that your greatest battles are already behind you. This is the code of resignation, and most men accept it without a fight. But there exists another code. It's followed by a select group of men who, after 45, don't just survive. They ignite. They forge more wealth, build more strength, and command more respect than in all their younger years combined. This isn't luck. It's not a fluke. It is a deliberate, calculated reprogramming of the one machine that truly controls your destiny, your subconscious mind. They discovered that your current reality, your bank account, your energy, your station in life is not a reflection of your age or your past. It is the direct physical printout of what your inner world has been programmed to believe you deserve. The man who prospers late in life is not the one who works harder, but the one who finally learns how to rewrite the code within. This video is the manual for that process. It is the tool to uninstall the virus of resignation and install the operating system of a commander. If you are ready to stop being a product of your past and start being the architect of your future, then commit to this training. Subscribing is not clicking a button. It's signing a contract with yourself, a contract that says, my reconstruction starts now. Your mind is a forge, operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your past. It only obeys the commands it is given. Its sole function is to take the raw material of your thoughts and hammer them into the hard steel of your reality. It is a perfect, neutral, and terrifyingly powerful tool. You have been living as if you are merely a spectator to this process. You've allowed the raw material of fear, doubt, and the opinions of others to be fed into your forge, and then you act surprised when the life that emerges is brittle, rusty, and misshapen. You look at your circumstances and blame the world, not the forge. This is the most common error a man makes. He tries to change his life by polishing the rusty steel, by trying to fix the external results. He works harder, he hustles more, but he never questions the raw material being fed into the fire. He never seizes control of the forge itself. This is a battle you cannot win. The man who prospers, especially after years of stagnation, is the one who has this earth-shattering realization. He understands the first law. His life is not happening to him. It is being forged by him. His outer world is a direct, non-negotiable mirror of his inner commands. This changes everything. You are not your current circumstances. You are the blacksmith. The resignation you feel is not you. It's the result of letting an amateur run your forge. The financial struggle is not you. It's the product of feeding the forge with thoughts of scarcity and limitation. We must separate the man from the metal, and here is where our work begins. We are not here to polish rust. We are here to seize control of the entire factory, to throw out the contaminated ore of doubt and fear, to consciously and deliberately choose the highest grade materials of purpose, certainty, and command. Think of Henry Ford. He didn't just want to build a car. He held a burning, vivid image of a nation connected by roads, of a new world built on affordable transportation. He fed that singular, high-grade vision into his mental forge, day after day, against all ridicule and all evidence to the contrary. The world saw scrap metal and impossible logistics. His bankers saw a fool, but Ford saw the finished product in his mind with such clarity that his subconscious had no choice but to obey. It moved heaven and earth. It attracted the right people. It solved impossible problems, all to match the blueprint he relentlessly held. Your mind is no different from Ford's. It possesses the same creative power. The only difference is the command you are giving it. Right now, its primary command might be survive, or don't fail, or stay safe. These are low-grade commands that produce a low-grade life. So the first act of a commander is to issue a new directive. It is to stand before the fire of your own mind and declare a new blueprint. You are not just a spectator. You are not a victim of the process. You are the master blacksmith. And your work begins with choosing what you forge. This requires a level of honesty you may not be used to. You must look at every piece of your life, your income, your health, your relationships, and take absolute ownership. You must see it as a piece of metal that you forged. This isn't about blame. It's about reclaiming power. Because the moment you accept you forged it, you also accept you can reforge it. You can take the misshapen steel of your current life, melt it down with the heat of a new, burning desire, and hammer it into a masterpiece. This is the power you possess. So let's perform the first ritual. This is not just watching, this is training. I want you to say this out loud with the authority of a man taking back his command center. Breathe in. Now declare it. I am the master of the forge. My thoughts are the fire that shapes my world. I choose to create. There is a fundamental misunderstanding about what it takes to change. Most men confuse wanting something with having. A true desire, wanting, is a weak, passive state. It's a Sunday afternoon wish. I'd like to be in better shape. It would be nice to have more money. It carries no energy, no heat. It is a cold ember, a burning desire. The kind that Napoleon Hill identified as the starting point of all great achievement is something else entirely. It is not a wish. It is a raging inferno. It is an obsession that consumes your thoughts, a definitive purpose that dictates your actions. It's the force that wakes you up at AM and keeps you working while others sleep. And here is the secret advantage you have as a man over 40. A younger man's desires are often vague and scattered. He wants fame, money, adventure, 100 different things. He lacks the focus that comes from one of life's greatest teachers, the sharp, clarifying pain of regret and mediocrity. You have lived long enough to know exactly what you don't want. You have felt the sting of missed opportunities. You've tasted the bitter ash of settling for less. You know the quiet desperation of a life lived at a fraction of its potential. This pain is not your enemy. It is your ultimate fuel. Most men try to numb this pain. They distract themselves with cheap entertainment, with complaints, with the false comfort of blaming others. The man who forges a new destiny does the opposite. He channels that pain. He uses every ounce of his frustration as kerosene for the fire of his new desire. Your dissatisfaction is a sacred gift. It is the universe telling you that you were made for more. The disgust you feel with your current state is the raw, explosive energy required to launch you into a new orbit. You must stop running from it and start harnessing it. Think of Edwin C. Barnes, the man who was so determined to work with Thomas Edison, not just for him, that he showed up at Edison's laboratory, broke and unknown, looking like a tramp. He didn't just want to be Edison's business associate. He had a desire so white-hot that it burned away all doubt and all possibility of failure. He didn't say, "Mr. Edison, can I have a job?" He said, through his sheer presence and unwavering intent, "I am here to go into business with you. I will do whatever it takes. I will not be denied." He channeled the pain of his obscurity into a force of absolute certainty, and he became Edison's partner, selling the Ediphone all over the nation and making himself rich. Barnes' secret was not his talent. It was his ability to transform a wish into a non-negotiable obsession. He took whatever dissatisfaction he had with his old life and used it to fuel a single, all-consuming purpose. This is the alchemy we must now perform. What is the one result? The one change that would make all the past struggle worthwhile? Get specific. Don't say more money. How much exactly? By when? Don't say a better life. What does it look like? Feel like? Taste like? Your subconscious mind cannot work with vague requests. It requires a precise blueprint. Take the pain of your current financial situation. Feel it. Don't flinch. Now use that energy to define its exact opposite. The exact income you will command, the exact investments you will make, the exact freedom it will buy for you and your family. This clarity transforms a wish into a target. Your past failures are not evidence that you can't win. They are the training ground that has prepared you for this moment. They have given you the priceless gift of clarity. You know the enemy. You know the cost of inaction. Now you must use that wisdom to define your victory. A burning desire is not an emotion you wait for. It is a decision you make. It's the decision to stop tolerating your current reality. It's the decision to focus all your mental and emotional energy onto a single, definite outcome until it materializes. Let's install this command. This is the moment you turn from passive wanting to active creation. Feel the heat of all your past frustrations, all your dissatisfactions. Now channel it into this one declaration. Say it out loud. I transform pain into power. My dissatisfaction is the fuel for my burning desire. I am obsessed with my purpose. There is a war being waged for the territory of your mind. It's not a visible war with soldiers and tanks. It is a silent, insidious invasion of ideas, and you have been a casualty for decades without knowing it. The enemy is a virus, a social conditioning that tells you, after 45, your role is to manage your decline gracefully. This virus is lethal because it's invisible. It's in the jokes people make about getting old. It's in the media that celebrates youth and ignores wisdom. It's in the well-meaning but poisonous advice from friends and family to be realistic. To not take too many risks, to be grateful for what you have as a way to say, stop trying for more. This mental virus programs your subconscious to act like a defense attorney for your limitations. It makes you actively search for evidence of why you can't succeed. You see a young person's success and think, see, it's a young person's game. You face a setback and think, I knew it, I don't have what it takes anymore. The man who remains trapped is the one who believes this propaganda. He accepts the virus as truth. The man who breaks free, the man who forges a new destiny, is the one who finally declares war on this conditioning. He decides to become a rebel, a conscientious objector to the collective delusion of mediocrity. You must understand, becoming successful after 45 is an act of rebellion. It requires you to consciously reject what is considered normal for your age. You must build a fortress around your mind and stand guard at the gate, refusing entry to any thought, any person, any idea that does not align with your new mission. Your mind is sovereign territory. For too long, you have allowed it to be occupied by foreign invaders, the doubts of others, the fears of society, the limitations of collective belief. The time for that is over. Today, you begin the liberation campaign. Your first act as a commander is to expel the enemy. Consider the story of Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. He was surrounded by generals, advisors, and a public that told him the war was unwinnable. They presented him with evidence of defeat, with logistics of impossibility, with calls for a negotiated peace, the realistic option. They were infected with the virus of doubt. Lincoln, however, built an intellectual and spiritual fortress. He insulated his own resolve from the tidal wave of public fear. He held to his definite purpose, the preservation of the Union, with a faith so absolute that it bent the will of a nation. He refused to allow the collective doubt to become his internal reality. He was a rebel against the realism of his time. He understood that his belief was a more powerful force than the enemy's armies. Your battle is no different. You must develop the same defiant faith in your own purpose, shielding it from the realistic advice of a world that has already surrendered. This means you must audit your information diet. You must cut off the news that feeds you fear. You must mute the friends who mock your ambition. You must starve the virus of the evidence it needs to survive. And you must, in turn, flood your mind with proof of what is possible. Seek out the stories of men who achieved their greatest victories late in life. Study the colonels who became generals at 50, the entrepreneurs who built empires at 60. Make their stories your new reality. Feed your subconscious mind with an overwhelming body of evidence that supports your new belief system. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about strategic information warfare. You are replacing enemy propaganda with the intelligence that fuels victory. You are consciously choosing the data that will build the identity of a man who wins, regardless of his age or circumstances. The social virus thrives in ambiguity and fear. It dies under the harsh light of a defiant, unshakable decision. The moment you decide that your inner conviction is more real than the outer world's opinion, you begin to starve the virus to death. This is your declaration of independence. This is you taking back your sovereign territory. Stand up, breathe deep, and give the command that evicts the squatter of doubt from your mind forever. Repeat this. My mind is a sovereign nation. I am the only authority. I reject and destroy every belief that does not serve my highest purpose. Here is one of the most powerful secrets of the human mind, a truth so profound that it has been guarded by the successful for centuries. Your subconscious mind, the powerful engine that drives 95% of your life, cannot tell the difference between a real experience and an experience that is vividly and repeatedly imagined. Let me repeat that. Your nervous system does not know if you are actually closing a $1 million deal or if you are simply imagining closing that deal with intense emotional detail. It reacts to the blueprint you give it. This is not a metaphor. It is a neurological fact. This is the key to your reprogramming. For years, you have been using this tool in reverse. You have been vividly imagining failure. You worry about losing. Your job, you rehearse arguments in your head, you picture the embarrassment of not being able to pay your bills. You have been running a detailed, high-definition simulation of everything you don't want, and your loyal, unquestioning subconscious has been diligently working to make that simulation your reality. It has been obeying your most consistent command. The anxiety you feel is the result of a mind expertly trained to anticipate disaster. We are now going to reverse that training with military precision. You will install a new simulation, a new movie. You will become the director of the film of your own victory. This is done through a non-negotiable daily ritual, systematic visualization. This is not daydreaming. This is a targeted, strategic imprinting of a new reality onto your neurology. Here is your new protocol every night for the last 10 minutes. Before you fall asleep, you will close your eyes and step into the reality where you have already achieved your definite financial goal. Do not see it as a distant dream. See it as a memory. Feel it with every ounce of your being. What does the number in your bank account look like? See the digits. How does your body feel without the constant weight of financial stress? Feel the lightness in your shoulders, the confidence in your posture. What conversations are you having with your spouse about the future? Hear the joy and security in her voice. The key is emotion. Your subconscious speaks the language of feeling, abstract. Goals like "I want to be rich" are meaningless. The feeling of absolute certainty as you look at your investment portfolio, the feeling of pride as you write the check for your child's education, that is the language it understands. That is the command. The Wright brothers did not just hope to fly. For years, they lived in a state of sustained imagination. They felt the wind under the wings. They calculated the physics of lift in their minds. They experienced the triumph of soaring above the ground 1,000 times before the Kitty Hawk ever left the earth. Their first flight was merely the physical confirmation of a victory already won in their minds. Then, every morning, for the first 10 minutes after you wake up, before your mind is contaminated by the problems of the day, you run the simulation. Again, you step back into that reality. You begin your day from a place of victory, not from a place of deficit. Why does this work? Because you are sending clear, consistent, and emotionally charged instructions to the most powerful force in your universe. You are overwriting the old code of fear and lack with a new, dominant code of success and abundance. You are training your brain to recognize the opportunities that align with your new reality. This is the work. This is the real heavy lifting of transformation. It's not about hustling in a state of panic. It's about aligning your inner world with such precision that your outer world has no choice but to conform. You are building the cause, so the effect becomes inevitable. You are no longer a victim of your random, fearful thoughts. You are the director. You are the programmer. You are deliberately creating the neurological pathways of the man you have decided to become. This is the ultimate form of control. It's time for a command to your own mind to accept its new programming. This is the moment the new movie begins. Take a breath, see the vision, feel the victory. Now give the order. I am the director of my mind. I visualize my victory with intense detail. The reality I create internally becomes the reality I experience externally. Visualization is the act of drawing the architectural blueprint. It is essential. But a blueprint, no matter how brilliant, has never housed a family or hosted a board meeting. A blueprint without action is a fantasy. It is a monument to indecision. This is where most self-help falls apart. The men who truly transform their lives after 45 understand that the mental forge and the physical world must be connected. They build a bridge between their inner vision and their outer reality. That bridge is built with the steel of what I call inspired action. Inspired action is fundamentally different from desperate, panicked action. Desperate action comes from a place of lack. It's the frantic hustling of a man who believes he is behind, who is trying to force a result. It's heavy, draining, and often counterproductive. It feels like pushing a boulder uphill. Inspired action is the opposite. It flows from a place of alignment. When you have consistently programmed your subconscious mind with a clear vision of your victory, something remarkable begins to happen. Your mind, now operating with a new set of instructions, starts to filter the world differently. You begin to notice things you never saw before. A conversation you overhear in a coffee shop suddenly sparks a business idea. An article you randomly click on contains the solution to a problem that has plagued you for months. An old acquaintance calls you out of the blue with an opportunity. This is not coincidence. This is your reticular activating system, your brain's filtering mechanism, now calibrated to your new mission. This is the universe conspiring with you, because you have finally given it a clear signal of what you are creating. Inspired action feels different. It's lighter. It feels less like pushing a boulder and more like being pulled by an invisible current. The right steps appear, not all at once, but one by one, exactly when you need them. But you must be worthy of this guidance. You must be in a state of alert, disciplined attention. The universe whispers its secrets. It rarely shouts. If your mind is cluttered with the noise of fear, complaint, and distraction, you will miss the signal. This is why the inner work comes. First, think of Andrew Carnegie. He didn't just visualize a steel empire. He combined that grand vision with decisive, organized planning and relentless action. When he formed his mastermind alliance with dozens of the sharpest men of his time, he was taking inspired action. He was building the physical structure to support his mental blueprint. He didn't know every single step it would take to become the richest man in the world, but he took the next logical, inspired step, and then the next one. His actions were not born of panic. They were the confident, powerful movements of a man who knew his vision was inevitable. So how do you recognize inspired action? It will often feel like a mix of excitement and fear. The excitement comes from the alignment with your purpose. The fear comes from the fact that it is pulling you out of your comfort zone. This is your sign. When you feel that combination, you must act without hesitation. Hesitation is the assassin of opportunity. When you receive an inspired idea, a nudge, a coincidence, you have a brief window to act on it. If you wait, if you let the virus of doubt creep in and start asking, what if it doesn't work? The window closes, the energy dissipates. You have told the universe you are not yet ready. The practice, then, is to cultivate a bias for immediate action on these intuitive hits. When you get the idea to call someone, you pick up the phone. When you see the opportunity to learn a new skill, you enroll in the course. You act first and analyze later. This builds momentum. This builds trust with your own intuition. This is how you build the bridge from thought to thing, one plank of inspired action at a time. Each action, no matter how small, is a declaration to the universe that you are serious. You are no longer just a dreamer, you are a builder. Let's seal this. This is the commitment to move from blueprint to building. This is where thought becomes power. Breathe in the certainty of your vision. Now declare your nature as a man of action. I am a conduit for inspired action. I trust my intuition and execute without hesitation. I build in the physical world WHAT I have perfected in my mind. If there is a single quality, a single fulcrum upon which all success and failure rests, it is this: the ability to make a clear, sharp, and definitive decision. The vast majority of men live their lives in the gray fog of indecision. Their language is the language of maybe, I'll try, we'll see, and when the time is right. This ambiguity is a poison. It sends a weak, garbled signal to your subconscious mind. An order to try is an order to prepare for failure. A goal to see what happens is a command to remain passive. The subconscious mind requires a definitive binary command: go or no go, yes or no, this or nothing. The man who languishes in mediocrity is the man who is afraid to be wrong, and so he never fully commits to being right. He keeps his options open. But in keeping his options open, he closes the door to real power. A definitive decision is the act of closing all other doors and burning all the escape routes. When you make a decision that is final and irreversible, something inside you shifts. Your personal energy, which was scattered across a dozen possibilities, now coalesces into a single focused laser beam. You send an unequivocal command to your subconscious: this is happening. There is no other outcome. Devote all resources to making it so. And that is precisely what it does. The moment your decision becomes definite, your mind stops wasting energy on doubt and starts using that energy to find solutions. It becomes a relentless problem-solving machine aligned with the one and only target you have given it. This is the secret of willpower. It's not about forcing yourself. It's about the clarity that comes from a decision already made. But there is a part of this that almost everyone misses. A true decision is measured by the fact that you have taken new action. if you have decided but have not taken a new step. You have not decided. You have only made a preference. A decision is only real when it is backed by a down payment of action, and it must be backed by a willingness to pay the full price. Every great prize has a great price tag. The price might be your comfort. It might be your free time. It might be your old friendships that hold you back. It might be the temporary pain of discipline and sacrifice. The question is not if there is a price. The question is if you are willing to pay it. The weak man looks at the price and hesitates. The man of power looks at the prize, decides it is worth it, and then commits to paying the price, no matter what it is. This is the essence of commitment. It's the willingness to endure the journey because the destination has already been decided. Look at the life of any great leader. Consider Walt Disney. He decided to build the happiest place on earth in the middle of some orange groves in Anaheim. He was rejected by over 300 bankers. His own brother Roy told him it was a crazy idea. Everyone presented him with the evidence of why it would fail. But Disney had made a decision. It wasn't a hope or a wish. It was a settled fact in his mind. Because the decision was definite, he was willing to pay any price. He borrowed against his life insurance. He sold personal property. He endured ridicule and disbelief. The price was high, but the decision was final. His definite decision was the fulcrum that moved the world. It attracted the one banker who finally said yes. It inspired the loyalty of his team. It created a reality that had never existed before. All because one man refused to live in the fog of maybe. What is the one decision you have been postponing? The decision about your health, your career, your finances, you know the one. It hangs over you, draining your energy, feeding your anxiety. You are tolerating the slow pain of indecision instead of choosing the sharp, clean pain of a definite choice. We end this now. The power you seek is on the other side of the decision. You are afraid to make the clarity, the energy, the momentum, it's all waiting for you. It's time to step out of the fog and into the light of command. This is the ritual where you cut the anchor of indecision. Feel the power of finality. Take a deep breath, make the choice, and seal it with this command. Repeat it until it becomes your nature. I am a man of definitive decision. I cut through ambiguity and command my reality. My decision is my destiny, and I choose greatness. Let's move this from theory to the physical world. I want to tell you about a man named Michael. At 48, Michael was the embodiment of quiet resignation. He was a senior project manager at a tech firm, earning a decent living, but his soul was starving. Every morning he'd sit in his car before walking into the office and feel a wave of dread. He saw younger, more aggressive colleagues getting the exciting projects while he was relegated to maintenance on legacy systems. He felt invisible, a ghost in the machine he had helped build. At home he was distant. His wife would ask what was wrong, and he'd just mumble, tired. The truth was, he was ashamed that the fire he once had was now just a pile of cold ash. The catalyst came in the form of a corporate restructuring. His position was eliminated. He was given a severance package and a polite handshake after 22 years of service. For the first 48 hours, he felt a terrifying cocktail of panic and humiliation. He was 48, competing with 28-year-olds who spoke a language of tech he barely understood. The social virus screamed in his ear, "You're finished." He spent a week in a fog, binge-watching shows and avoiding his family's concerned glances. Then one night, sitting in his garage staring at his old woodworking tools, a different voice cut through the static. It was the memory of his own father, a carpenter, who used to say, "A man is not what he does for a living. A man is what he builds." That was the pattern interrupt. He didn't want another job. He didn't want to be a manager. He wanted to build something. The pain of his termination, the pain of his mediocrity, was finally channeled. It became the fuel for a new, burning desire to start his own business making high-end, custom furniture. It was a crazy idea. He hadn't done serious woodworking in 20 years. He found this material. He learned about the subconscious mind, about definitive decision, about visualization. He was skeptical, but he was also desperate. He started the ritual. Every night he didn't just see himself building furniture. He felt the grain of the wood under his fingers. He smelled the sawdust. He saw the look of awe on a client's face. He visualized his bank account with a specific, audacious number in it. He took inspired action. He called an old friend who owned a lumber yard. He enrolled in a weekend course on modern joinery techniques. Each small action quieted the voice of doubt and amplified the voice of command. He made a definitive decision. He invested a portion of his severance into new tools. He wasn't trying, he was doing. The ships were burned. The first 6 months were brutal. He made mistakes. He underpriced a job and lost money. A complex table warped and had to be rebuilt. The old virus of doubt would creep in at night, whispering, "You're a fool. You threw it all away." But now he had a weapon. He would go back to his visualization. He would stand in his workshop and repeat his declaration. "I am a master craftsman. I create value and command my price." The breakthrough came from an unexpected place. An interior designer saw a picture of one of his pieces on a local social media group. She was impressed by the quality. She commissioned him for a large project for a wealthy client. It was the exact kind of opportunity he had been visualizing. The fee was more than he had made in 6 months as a project manager. Today, 2 years later, Michael is not just surviving. He is thriving. He has a waiting list of clients. He recently hired his first apprentice. He moves with a purpose and a confidence his family hasn't seen in decades. He is not just a woodworker. He is an artist, an entrepreneur, a builder. He is the man he was always meant to be. He didn't get younger. He didn't get lucky. He took the pain of his past, the wisdom of his age, and the power of his own mind, and he reforged his identity. He stopped being a victim of his circumstances and became the architect of his destiny. His story is not special. It is a testament to a universal law. The power to transform your life does not reside outside of you. It is not in a job or the stock market or a lucky break. It has been sitting dormant inside your own mind, waiting for a commander, waiting for you. Let his story be the proof. Let it be the final piece of evidence that overwrites the virus of doubt. The tools he used are now in your hands. The path he walked is now open to you. We have journeyed through the battlefield of the mind. We have identified the enemy, the social viruses, the patterns of doubt, the prison of fear. We have assembled the arsenal, the power of burning desire, the precision of visualization, the force of definitive decision. The strategies are yours. The weapons are in your hands. The story of Michael, the story of Aurelio, the stories of thousands of men like them, all point to one singular, powerful truth. Prosperity, fulfillment, and power after the age of 45 are not a matter of chance. They are a matter of choice. A choice to stop being the passive recipient of a pre-programmed life and to become its active, demanding architect. The world will continue to tell you to be realistic. Your old programming will continue to tempt you with the comfort of doubt. The path of least resistance will always be there, beckoning you back to the quiet desperation of the majority. The war is never truly over. It is a daily campaign of command. Your identity is not fixed. It is not a stone tablet. It is a fluid creation, forged moment by the choices you make, the thoughts you entertain, and the standards you enforce upon yourself. You are not what you were yesterday. You are what you are choosing to become right now, in this moment. The question that remains is not, can I change my life? The laws of the mind are as certain as the law of gravity. The system works. The real question, the only question that matters, is this: when will you decide to use it? When will you decide that the pain of staying the same has finally become greater than the fear of the unknown? Because the secret of those who prosper late in life is not a secret at all. It is a decision. It's the decision to stop negotiating with mediocrity. It's the decision to demand more from yourself than anyone else would ever expect. It's the decision to finally become the man you were born to be. The poverty of spirit, the poverty of finance, the poverty of purpose, it is not in your circumstances. It has always been in your mind, and your mind at any age can be given a new command. It can be handed a new blueprint. It can be ordered to build a new world. Your mission does not end when this video stops. It is just beginning. This code, this transmission, is not meant to be consumed once. It is a tool for your arsenal. It is your daily training manual. Your first order is to ritualize this knowledge. Return here tomorrow. Listen to this while you walk, while you drive, while you forge your body in the gym. Let these words become the new soundtrack of your mind, overwriting the static of doubt. Reinstall the code until it becomes your automatic response to every challenge. Your second order is to declare your commitment. Go to the comments now and write, I am the architect. This is your public declaration. This is your signal to yourself and the world that the old you is retired and the builder has taken command. Your final order is one of leadership. You know another man who is fighting this same battle in silence, a man who feels the weight of resignation. Share this transmission with him. Don't just send a link. Tell him, our training starts now. To lift another man is to strengthen yourself. Now go, the blueprints are in your hand. The forge is hot. The world is waiting for what you will build, execute.